And those words of the national anthem has never left me. There are very critical issues that were raised in that national anthem as per the aspirations of our forefathers. And they said, "O God of all creation, can you bless this our land and nation? Can justice be our shield and defender? May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty." And they said, "Can plenty be found within our borders?" Today, leading to this space, I have deeply reflected on these words. I said I was born in November 1997. So technically, I'm 27. I'm Gen Z. But I must admit that I grew up with millennials and they shaped a lot about me. I also want to admit, Hillary and members, that I'm a member of the ODM party. And Hillary, as you had said, that partly it is my party leader who proposed us to propose this issue of intergenerational conclave. I want to start by acknowledging Hillary. I just want to speak so that I don't come back again. I want to start by acknowledging the pain that many people feel right now, including myself. I understand the frustration of seeing our brothers and sisters lose their lives to police brutality. I understand the heartbreak of having degrees in our hand but no jobs to look forward to. You see, I see the mothers waking up before dawn to sell mboga just to put food on their table. I see the overcrowded slums and the daily struggles faced by the youth in Kenya. There is poverty, inequality, there's lack of opportunity, insecurity, and there's a feeling that the future is uncertain. Members, last week I visited a family in the slums, and the mother she's a single mother. She had malaria, and she had bought some tablets. And in fear, this mother will break the tablets into two, so that the doses could last longer. This is our reality, and members, I think this is unacceptable. For these and many reasons, I became socially aware and politically aware and economically aware when I was in the university. And so I joined the streets. I was in the streets in 2023 when we were crying for the cost of living. I was there in 2024. I joined my fellow Gen Zs in 2024. And I was there in June 25th, 2024, when we marched to Parliament. I was there this year in June 2025 when we commemorated the Gen Zs. And I was there in the Sabasaba. It is Sabasaba that brings me here tonight, because I saw police barricade the whole city and I saw mayhem. Another 30 young people were down, and I saw ethnic profiling gaining momentum. While at it, the minister in charge of Interior was still giving an illegal order for police to shoot and kill us. And another member of parliament, who happens to come from my party, was calling for restrictions of our civil liberties. I'm embarrassed on her behalf. I must also admit that I saw businesses being distracted on that day. And today, I see rebel police officers on the street saying that they want to liberate us. Surely, deeply, I feel we are on the wrong direction as a country. I want to be biased now going forward a little bit. And I've reflected deeply about this. And painfully, I have sat down with some of my comrades. And I think as a country, we have reached a point where we need dialogue. And I'm repeating that. I think as a country, we have reached a time or a point that we need dialogue. The only question I'm asking, which kind of dialogue, and what is the structure of the dialogue, and who will lead this dialogue? Do we need a dialogue of the youth alone, or is it intergenerational? This is the question that I think we must face. You see, why I support this call for dialogue is that our beautiful country is going down. Can we have a dialogue that we can reflect as a country if we are still on the track, or we are off the rails and are headed to the wreckage? Can we sit down to interrogate the words of our anthem and ask if justice is truly our shield, and or if plenty is still really within our borders? Can we have a dialogue and sit down as a country and draw an alternative republic? how we will want our country to be in terms of governance, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of police. Like, can we have a dialogue and sit down and interrogate our Constitution 2010 and ask if 47 counties are sustainable? Can we ask questions about our digital media and how we can maximize on it? Like, I'm asking, can we turn our energies from protest to policy? Many people are asking that we are known for protest and noises. Can we tell them that we can provide solutions? Can we talk about free education? Can we have a dialogue where we tell them that we fold all these funds, CDF, CG what, and have free education for once? Can we have a dialogue where we talk about negative ethnicity that is boiling into our country? People are telling me that Jaluo and some are called Jakikuyu and some are called Mkamba. I know some people will ask me, even tonight on this space, that why can't the leaders just follow the constitution? Or, and Hillary, you had put it earlier, that how many dialogues have we had as a country and nothing has come out of them? Some might even go ahead and ask me, how do we dialogue with a government that is killing us? But then tonight, I want us to reflect deeply. Constitution 2010 is 15 years old, and a lot has changed since then. In 2010, I was in class 7. Since then, a lot has changed. Even the Constitution, I feel, needs a conversation. But for those asking about the number of dialogues, I think we need to reflect also deeply and go down into history. We talked about 1963, in the impending days of Uhuru. People will go to London to negotiate on our behalf. Can we not fear to negotiate with these people? Can we face them head on and tell them how we feel? Many people are saying Ruto must go. Can we have a dialogue and tell him that this is what we have, we want you to go, and have a proposal on after he goes, what next? Today, I want to talk about our legacy as a generation. We went to the streets, we touched the parliament. What will we be accountable for 40 years to come? People born in 1963 will say that they went to the bushes and fought and they gave us independence. Today we celebrate our own flag, a black president, our own parliament, black parliament. That is what our forefathers celebrate. Our fathers celebrate multipartyism, and today I can see members of ODM here, members of Jubilee, members of whatnot. And people, our fathers can be accountable that they fought for that. People in the early 2000s can talk about how they removed the Nyayo regime and how they brought in a new constitution. As a generation, what have we achieved so far? Of course, we went to the streets and touched the parliament. But can we say that as our legacy 40 years to come? That as I will sit somewhere with my grandkid and tell my grandkid that, this is what we touched into parliament. That is why I am in support of this intergenerational conclave. It might not be as proposed by Raila Odinga, but how can we have this conversation? And who can lead this conversation? And what can be the composition of this conversation? Of course, I'm also scared because since this proposal was given, the president has not talked. If the president is not genuine about this conversation, of course, it is hard. So we will want to hear what the president says about it. But we will also need a referee who is in the middle ground. Even if we can get someone who is neutral, we can use media houses or an international partner. But Hillary and fellow Kenyans and fellow young people who are here, for me, I'm convinced that we have gotten to a point that the country needs to speak to its soul. The next question I'm going to ask is, how do we do it? But I've come into a conclusion that we need a conversation as a country. But Hillary, how many dialogues? We dialogue every day with our families, like a country is like a household. Our kids, our brothers, they wrong us every day, and we dialogue like every morning. In our schools, there are assemblies and parades. They dialogue like every week. The United Nations sit and dialogue. It's a ridiculous question when someone asks me that how many dialogues. Like I feel we need even a bit internally. I dialogue with myself every day to find a purpose and to find direction. Like it is something we need to do. Even going forward, if we manage to do one, we need to have a dialogue like every year. Instead of that prayer breakfast, we need to have a conversation as a country every year. Like all this all these organizations coming together and we having a dialogue. I've gone far and I know we have very many speakers. Hilary, thank you so much for hosting
Thank
us
you.
this night. I'm looking forward to a good conversation.
Thank you so much, Davis, and I really appreciate you. See, you said that we need a dialogue because even yourself, you have a dialogue in the morning before you wake up, before you do things, you have a dialogue. But I ask you that I ask this question to all listeners that why dialogue now, and what is the difference with the other dialogues that have been there? You have talked about the constitution, and every time the constitution has been there, you are telling us that we need to dialogue all the time. So it means that every generation we coming, we not need even to implement according to how I was understanding yourself. Maybe I'll be wrong, but you are trying to say that. We need to change constitution after any generation. I think then we will be having many constitutions. Is this one leaving?
I'll
Then Abdi 1 minute. So thank you so much, David, for giving your views, and that's why I say that we respect your views, and that you have given why you need this conversation. That is very important because you see that it is important for us now as young people. And the good thing is why I put this space today is about these Gen Zs because people were talking about Gen Z movement, the Gen Z movement, but we don't hear you. But I'm happy that you say that you're supporting this because your party leader proposed it. I don't know you're supporting. That's why you're supporting it. But I believe that apart from your party leader, you are also having belief. Abdi, say hi before I bring Maverick Aoko.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Hillary. What a great conversation. I think I'm on a summer barbecue. That's why I just got dropped a little bit. But I just want to add to this conversation. I think let's be clear. I think it's not about romanticizing the intergenerational unity. It's about interrogating why dialogue in Kenya keeps failing. We have had dialogues every crisis. But what changed? Power remained in the same hands. Corruption got bolder. The youth were told to wait their turn. If we are going to talk, we must be about transition and not mentorship. We must center truth, justice, and redistribution of power because Gen Zs are not looking for validation. They are demanding transformation. Let's not waste time replicating the same elite cycle. Let this time we talk about purpose for that is for all and the reason yeah. Thank you, Hillary. I'll just
Okay,
be chiming
thank you
in
so
there.
Yes,
much,
Hilary.
Umoja. Umoja, this is not this my space. We don't talk that way. We carry up your hands, and if you want me to respect you, respect the space because you cannot be talking like that. We are not in a market. We give people time. To give their if you just open your mic then it means that our conversation doesn't make sense. Actually we'll be just making noise at the end of the day because we want to listen to everybody and we want to be a focused people, and that's why we do these spaces for us to have a conversation that can help us going on. Thank you so much for that, Abdi, for adding that, and we thank you guys for joining, and also everybody try to invite more people. Do we need this intergenerational conclave or not? And when we need it, who is funding it? I know Davis talk about that. You didn't give us who is. I hope you. I'll give you more time to tell us who's gonna fund all these things and where's this money. And yet you are saying that we don't have hospital. That was we need free education. Why can't we channel this money to free education to support people? You know, those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. I invited my friend. Maverick Aoko, and she's here. I want to give a mic to say hi and also if she can chime in. Aoko. Maverick, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Good evening.
I'm awesome. Thank you for asking. Hi, Hillary.
Hi, I'm good. Yourself?
Everyone else.
Everyone is good here. That's why they're here to listen.
Thank you. My background is not very conducive. It's a little bit noisy. I don't know if it's going to impede the conversation.
No. You are good.
Thank you. But yeah, contrary to politically, first of all, that boy was just spoken as who's nothing but balderdash. Contrary to politically correct gibberish, Kenya is at war. But the conflict is not generational, it's ideological. And the warriors of this battle are 80% of the population, the youth. No one wakes up to go and woo or court death like it's pussy. They go to have a dalliance with the Grim Reaper because they want basics: food, shelter, clothing, water, healthcare. You know, sometimes I hear people with the reasoning of some circumcised clitoris tell me, Alco, we are helping you to support the government you voted for. Yes, I campaigned for Ruto in 2022. And even if you ask his people, Sikupe hata sumuni ya bundles, I campaigned for Kasongo because I managed, or he managed rather, to convince me against my better judgment, like he did 6 million other Kenyans, that Shida yetu has been dynasties. Na yeye as chicken seller, hustler, he comprehends our struggles and is committed to offering a panacea. Only to get into power, kazi ni kupiga bibi, kuibia wananchi, kufira Soipan, kuonga Raila, abducting, maiming, kuvaa belt ya 10 million, yet feeding program ya kids is suffering, killing and hosting low IQ psychophant state house every week. Why would a country sit down 60 years after independence to have a conversation on how we should secure basic needs? 60 years after independence, ndio mwizi wa Sugoi ilizaliwa kwa kichaka. By the way, no one knows baba ya Ruto. Ndio iko building affordable housing for you at 8 million per bed sitter. Yet from Simiti to Kokoto are supplied by Akina Shalin, Nick, and the Indian imbeciles. He promised us jobs, but it is hairy son George buying Ganya like underwear. Ziko 18 as we speak, each at 20 million. Nick is buying choppers all over. After Danny deals, he was the overseeing lawyer. Kisogo Princess Shalin is either sitting on Jalango's dick after dumping Daddy Owen or constructing apartments all over. Yeye na bwana MC Gogo Sakaja ndio wanageuza Nairobi a concrete jungle. Intergenerational conscience is Raila and his wizardry trying to justify the blood he feeds on like the vampire that he is. Mtu anashabikia Raila ni mpumbavu kama mama yake. Ati Luos have never had a chance at presidency. Raila has been shaking hands since 1997. He only negotiates for his stomach, not Luos. Under his Uhuru handing off, what did Luos gain? Give me one major thing Luos gained apart from Raila's bank account burgeoning further. People say Matiang'i have to Miguna. No. It was Raila who betrayed Miguna because Miguna's NRM, National Resistance Movement, aka Resist, could not allow him to get a check from Amangina and Uhuru Kenyatta. Moses Kuria was the one who oversaw the whole abracadabra. Same Moses Kuria was in the meeting where Ruto organized murder of Musandu. The doctor who sedated Miguna like a cow, like a pregnant elephant, is this Oluga Garcia rewarded with a PS job dues? Same Ruto with Gachagua as his deputy. They specifically Kalenjin and Okuyu police to Nyanza region during Sufuria movement. They were going door to door, clobbering and killing Luos from their houses. Homa Bay juzi niliona wanalala stadium usiku kucha kama wajinga. Days later, Lagata Kalenjin si aliua Albert Ojwang. Denzel Omondi, Aluo. Brian Odhiambo, the Naivasha fisherman, Aluo. Jaluo manema pache tiyo ka support Ruto. Atandi Peko Pierre Molin Catherine, yet Alego Usonga is one of the most useless constituency known for nothing but changa consuming. Otiende Amol, a respectable man, protects Raila because his son consumes cocaine like left Fidel. That Otiende Kazi Nikuchota random women Nairobi West. Opondo Kaluma distributes more syphilis than bursaries. Wanga married a man 30 years older than her. She fucked Charlie Juicy, then fired him. Military Nandako Yuameji Brian Weke. Joe is a drug baron on the FBI list. Alado suffers from both obesity and stupidity. Junet is Al Shabaab. And FIFA Suna is, yet he has rented nyumba huko Yugis, ametoka huko kwao Migori, ati Luos are beggars. Maba Jamaraelo. We don't need a conversation. We have unanimously decided that Ruto should, shall, and must go. We need a total overhaul by bullet or by ballot. Whoever wants to have a conclave can have it inside their mother's pussy. Warner.
Maverick. Thank you so much for that. And I know I see she has emotions, maybe because of the things that's happening. But I want just to put our conversation into more perspective, in the sense that do we need intergenerational conclave, and what is the difference between the other talks that has been there and this one that we want to go to, and why do we need it? Why can't we play? Do we need the talks, or we need the more implementations? Because when this government was coming in power, they 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 said that these are the things that they're gonna do. We don't see this thing uh is working for us, and that's what we are asking, guys. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for joining. Welcome on board. And that was Maverick Aoko. I know she's coming back, I think, because of network. She will come and finish her conversation. Commission, you're a co-host here. Say something before I give these people.
Yes, thank you very
Eh,
much,
yeah.
Hilary. I'll start from where I've just left it. I've said nothing apart from calling names, which is so unfortunate for us. We're here to discuss issues and matters of our national interest. So I've called everybody, abusing everybody names unnecessarily here. These are young people free space. We want to share ideas and issues how we may go into dialogue, or those who are saying that we go, why? And those who are saying that we should not go to the dialogue, why not? Those are the reasons that we want to hear from young people. We are here from different political parties, from different organizations, from different backgrounds. We are not all Luos here. When she's calling the Luo leaders and abusing them with their mother's things and father's things, so unfortunate. And maybe the business that they are doing, we'll also say us is also rubbish. I'll start from this point.
Commissioner, Commissioner, I think
I'm start from this point.
okay.
Okay, I'll start from this point. When we young people propose for us to go to the dialogue, and those who may be feeling that we need to go to the dialogue, we ask ourselves two critical questions. We know that we have had a number of theoretical dialogues written neatly by our academias. We also know that we have had dialogues and conversations in this country that have never been implemented, including the one which is so close to our heart, the TGRC report. We know the Ndugu report. There are so many dialogues and conversations that we have had, but a number of them are collecting dust in the shelves, which was unfortunate for us. For this, that Raila Amolo Odinga proposed, we have never had any like this. It is intergenerational conversation, a generation to a generation to talk to each other. The issues affecting my generation today may be far different from the issues affecting the generation that is ahead of us. We know that this generation where we are in, a generation that is educated, a generation with quality papers to get the opportunities. But it's unfortunate for us today that the government that we have in place have been killing the industries which are there. They have been leaving our country to our neighboring countries. Young people are not getting job opportunities. So there are difference between we, this generation, and that other generation that is ahead of us, and the Gen Alpha that is behind us here coming. I'm coming to this. If we'll go to the table on this dialogue, we want a practical, implementable dialogue with a time frame. The government of the day and the proposers of this dialogue must know that these young people are jobless. If they will fail to implement the resolutions that may come out from the tables of the dialogue, anytime, any day, these young people will go back to the street. But again, on the same breath, When young people decide to go to the street, that we have been on this street for the better part of 2024 from June to last month, we will agree that we have made our petition on the street. But we are asking ourselves a tough question again as a generation. Is the government of the day ready to implement the petition that we have made on the street? Number two, on this dialogue that we need to have, it is very timely that we need to have this dialogue. There are a number of issues affecting this country that are institutional. Not all battle will win on the street. A good example, I'll use two examples here. We have the IBC selection, the IBC commissioner selection or constitution of the IBC. These some of the things we have loopholes in that constitution. It doesn't need or requires to go to change the constitution or to go to the referendum. But these some of the loopholes that can be fixed when we sit down as a country and talk. The section of the IBC since 2010 constitution, the president of the day and the party with majority or minority sits down to constitute a team to select IBC. These are some of the independent bodies that need to have a clear way of selecting them. We know that young people are going to go to the ballot and the young people will turn up to vote. But who's going to account for our vote? It's not clear how they are being selected. This is one of the critical examples why we need to have the dialogue on how to fix some of the gaps in our constitution. That is just one. Number two, we'll agree that some of the issues does not need us to go to the table, like the free and affordable education issue. Why must we go to the table to discuss such? So the government of the day must have political goodwill to implement some of the issues that the nation have raised. Lastly, Hillary and our listeners, a country that talks to itself, a country that people talk to each other cannot fail. It is unfortunate that Senator Nyonka, let me use that example, in his most recent Senate pronouncement, say that this country has failed. It is true our country is facing failure today. Our country is at the abyss of failure today. Our country is on the highway of failure today. But if we don't sit down and talk and get it right back to the track, we may fail and we are facing failure. Lastly, we Kenya, we can't go the Somalia way. We can't go the Sudan way. Somalia today, they're struggling to get the civilian rule, to get a proper institutions to govern their country. We as a country, Kenya, we only have this country. We can't allow it to slip off from our hands. It is very timely for us young people and a generation to find our purpose, to find the reasons to be on the table with the government and other voices of reason. Lastly, as I hand over mic to maybe another speaker, you will agree with me that historically we have won on the tables. When the VIS opened here, it talked about the early 1960s, the late 1950s, when a delegation was sent to London to negotiate with our colonizers and we gain independence. You will agree with me here, listeners, that for us to have the multi-partyism after the agitation and the decaying of the old constitution, that we will agree, people had to sit down and that the section 2A had to be repealed. After people have sat down and made a petition on the streets. Number three, the 2010 constitution was born out of the conversation after a number of protests. Lastly, we are not ready to lose more comrades to the street. We need all of us to see and live into that future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jared. I want to say this. Let us be sober, and that's why we as Pressure Point we say that drink water for you to not have emotional when we speak. We want to be sober, and we want to be very much focused, young guys or people. That's what we want, because I know sometimes we work emotionally, and when don't use a lot of energy. When you use a lot of energy talking and everything, at the end of the day, you'll get tired yourself. Just give your points when you're relaxed. take water, relax. That's the pressure point is here with us, for us to lower the pressure. Sukari pande kidogo, chumvi pande kidogo, lakini kunywa maji ndio vitu zipungue. So guys, I'm saying that we are sober in this sense, that we want to talk about the facts. Because we are seeing the same people are the same people who are calling talks, and they have been calling these talks before. We don't see the implementation, and along the way, all the talks that has been there. Yes, we can talk about when during colonial era up to now, but since then the colonial gave us all these things. How many talks have been done? Okay, let us talk about the Gen Z age. The Gen Z starts 1997 up to now. So up to those people who are born in 2020, 2012, it means that that's the generation of Gen Zs. How many talks have you seen? And these talks, have they been implemented? And if not, why not these talks were not implemented? What do we expect now more that this talk that we're going to do now is going to be implemented? What are you going to do as young people to make sure that when this talk is, and I ask a very, very noble question here that I want to hear all this also. Who is funding this talk and who is chairing this talk? And uh, what is the take of this talk? Because what we are hearing in the talk is that people to be taken from the counties to vote in this talk so that they can have this talk. So we want to hear all this. Ruth, let me hear from yourself. You've been here since we opened the space. Then Marianne, then I'm gonna give you a mic, but guys, when we brief, we're gonna help us because we have so many. We have more than 90 requests. I'm more than 90 requests now, so it means that we have a lot of requests. So when we keep it brief, it will be important, and let us be focused. And also, we want to have a way forward today. These are the way forward as young people. These are what, and that's why we have all the parties. Young people from all the parties today are here. Invite more to come so that they can share all this one. And that's why I said that let us do this with all Gen Zs. We hear what they're saying. Ruth, take it up from there.
Thank you so much. Allow me to first start by sharing the greetings from the Interparties Youth Forum convener, that is Kidi Mwaga. And secondly, just to go straight to the conversation and to try and be brief, I do not support the National Conclave. And these are my reasons why. Number one, conclaves are more top-down and not bottom-up. So it goes against the very organic grassroots conversations that are concrete and that will be derived from the very ordinary youths and the very ordinary citizens. There is something that's going to be driven by the political class. And which brings me to my second worry, that this could just be a political diversion. This could be a political diversion because even if you look at when it was announced and the people who were surrounding the person who was making that request, you begin to wonder, how I wish it was a young person that was giving that conversation, that was giving that request, surrounded by fellow young people. Then maybe we could have thought about it. Previously, we've seen in the previous dialogues, and I'll use the one for last year, the dialogue that seemed to happen. We saw the president come out and say, and give some commitments, but there was no follow through. So why should we have another dialogue when there will not be any follow through of the commitments that he gave? We saw a lot of young people be alienated and even intimidated, such that when you speak, they come after you. We saw Morara try to go to one of the public participation meetings that took place. When he was being beaten up by those who had been mobilized, it was the very own members of parliament that were cheering on the microphone, telling him, haya sasa vijana hivyo ndio vizuri, karibu siasa ya Nairobi, hapo hapo. I mean, what are we doing? We've just around dialogue, we've had a lot of commitments that those who have, the families that have lost their loved ones, those who have been abducted, that they will get some sort of reparation, that they will get some sort of justice. We are still having open cases right about until now. We had the president say nobody will be abducted wrongly, nobody will be arrested falsely. What happened? It has not even lasted 6 months, not even 6 months. We are seeing people being arrested. One of the ladies that was recently arrested was arrested just because she was in the vicinity when the police station was being burnt. So it means that even the political class themselves are saying that there is a national crisis, even as they are trying to give us a contrary opinion. We've seen countries that have tried this national conclave. We've seen Nigeria.
we've seen Sudan, we've seen Tunisia, DRC, and so many others, but not even one has been successful. So why should we go that direction? Young people have already said what their problems are. They have said it countless times. So the government just needs to listen. You don't need to gather young people again. Young people that have told you last year, young people kept on putting up placards with their issues there. So instead of shooting them, go and read those placards. Young people are on X spaces every single week. Go and listen in. The same way you listen in to look for people to abduct. Now go and listen to the things that they want done, the things that they want changed, and actually give government action on it. As I come to a close, there's something that my fellow citizen Maverick spoke about, and she alluded to being attacked because of voting for the current president. But the truth is, listeners, those who voted for Ruto amwezi kuwa wakali. The reason is we must also hold you accountable for voting for this government, because you came to convince us. We were both listening to the same promises, but a person who promised us when he was with President Uhuru and did not follow through has zero track record. You want to all of a sudden convince us that you did not know that he would not implement promises, yet in the previous government he also gave promises that he did not fulfill. So now you want to come and tell us, oh, we also thought. We cannot start to remove ourselves from the very same problem that you gave Kenyans. So I think mine is just to strongly oppose the idea of the national conclave. We already have structures that are existing. We have the public participation. They need to just make it work, and not seemingly, because what happens with public participation is they want to make it look like it happened instead of actually allowing it to happen. We have the People's Dialogue Festival that happens every single year. That is very organic. That is now grassroots led, with the first one going to Meru, the county, where we had the Njurincheke actually sit with young people and tell them why they were actually very open in saying this is a problem we have with young people who are in leadership. And we had young MCAs like Honorable DMK come on board and say, these are the issues we are having with the party leaders. So we have structures that are existing. Why do we need to bring up another structure? Why do we need to waste money? Why do we need to duplicate roles? Let the government just do more of listening, more of reading, and less of trying to be reactive. Let them be proactive and not reactive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruth, and I really appreciate that you've said that. Let us not be. We have a system in place that need just implementation, and that's why you post all this. Yeah, soon nitakuja hapa na M-Pesa, nyinyi pia mnichangie bwana. At least tujenge tujenge ukuta ambao, kwa sababu naona sasa vile mambo inaendelea. But thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate those who are joining. Ruth, thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time and also coming in and say that you're opposing this because you said that there's a system on the way already that need to be implemented. I see you, Brother Dikembe. Feel welcome on board, and everybody else that is joining. Those who are asking Mike, we're just requesting that we are gonna give all these people at least to give their vision, their views on the same. Then I'll add you up. So just hold on a little bit, Marianne. Pick it up from there.
Thank you, Hillary. Can you confirm you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Great.
but your network is shaky.
Yes. So my name is Mariana.
Your network is shaky.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can barely hear you, Marianne. Yeah,
Marianne, your
you're
network is
breaking.
very shaky.
I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and I am here speaking on behalf of the Kenya Youth Association. Allow me to.
Okay, Marianne, can you check your connection? We can't hear you clearly. We are struggling. Okay, Ronyo, pick it up from there.
Hillary.
Marianne, just check your network, then I'll bring you up. Don't worry about that. Just check. You can log out and log in again, then I'll bring you up. Thank you so much. Ronyo, pick it up.
Hi, Hillary. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the mic. I appreciate thank you for everybody who is listening. I'll just take few so that others can also contribute. For me, I really don't see the sense into why we should have this national conclave, because we've had so many of the same. We've had a 10-point agenda. Where is it? NADCO report. Where it is? Where is it? We have a very good constitution. Why is it so hard to implement that constitution? We are having issues that people have already communicated. We have said stop abduction, stop corruption. We are seeing people going all around the country doing what they are calling I don't know, some programs that the deputy president and the rest are doing for I don't know what they are calling it. That is misappropriation of our taxes. So they already know what Kenyans want. They already know what young people want. So why should we have any discussion? So the people who are coming up with this issue of conclave, they are always together there. They are in the government. Why can't they sit down and say these are what the issues that young people are communicating? People are having conversation each and every day. They already know what is going on. Why do we have to? Why should we come again and have this conflict? This is just a diversionary, because in politics, uh, whenever they see that people are coming together and they are going against their agenda of looting and all and confusion, they will try to come up with issues that are going to cool down. And you see, now that we have a blood-based government, and now that Raila and the rest joined the government, of course they have to be asked, what are you guys bringing on the table? We brought you guys so that you can bring stability. So there is people are talking. There is a lot of voices. So it's your duty to go out there and silence that's voices. So that's why they are coming up. Oh, let's have a conclave so that they can silence the voices of the people who are saying we want good governance. So this national conclave, it do not bear any fruit. It's just another name on top of so many other names that have been there. So we should not be confused. We should be focused on what we want. They already know what we want, and part of it is that we want to clear all these people so that we can have people who are thinking and who have the interest of people at heart. Thank you so much, Hillary.
Oh, thank you so much, Ronyo. Yeah, that you're saying that you're not supporting because one maybe is a waste of resources and everything. Abdi, you want to say what? You want to say something? All right, I think you have a connection issues also. Check your connection at the same time. Marianne, you're back, right? Commissioner, you want to say
I think
something?
yeah, on the same breath, I think there are a number of youth league
Yeah, yeah.
leaders, presidents who have been waiting, and some of them already having are speakers.
Okay.
Then some have also stepped off from other duties. So if you can allow them to maybe give their time for
Send me
party,
their names, then I'll add them up on the platform. I'll just add them up to say something. So just text me their names, then I'll be adding them. All right, because I
some
might not.
already there already as speakers.
Oh, okay. That's very good. So Ras, your hand was up here before, then Japunj, Kennedy, Leonya, in that order.
Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Hillary, my brother, for really making it possible for us to be here. And it is time to have a conversation as a country, but a very frank conversation. I will start by borrowing the words of Ole Soyinka, and he said that a nation that permits itself to be ruled by tribal sentiments and corrupt practices is a nation that has already signed its own death warrant. I'm saying this, and I borrowed this word because the leaders of this country, they know what is our problem. They know why we went to the streets. They cannot tell you that they don't know, because we have been on these platforms, Hillary, saying what ails our nation. Ronyo has just said something very interesting that is currently going on in this administration, the so-called empowerment programs. Initially, some fellas in ODM, a party that I've worked with some few people, was opposed to. But currently, they don't have a problem with that. And the so-called empowerment program is part of the problem in this country. Because Hillary, we are having individuals who have deliberately decided to disrespect, mutilate, and defy the constitution. Because the problem, even the so-called conclave talks that are being proposed, and it's good the earlier speakers have indicated we have been here before. We were here in 2007, went to something that was called, we went to something that culminated into a handshake between Kibaki and Raila. Those that benefited, the history is there for people to read. Uhuru Kenyatta came in also, handshake was there. There are those people that benefited. But the core issues in the country were never addressed, and they will never. So, borrowing the words of Ronyo, it is an attempt by this particular administration to buy time so that 2027 they can have another opportunity to spread the kind of lies they gave to the people. Hillary, it is time we bite the bullet, because where I sit, who is calling for this conversation? Has the administration told us anything about the talks, or do they want the talk? Are some people here supporting the talks because Raila Amolo Odinga, a man that has really fought for this country, and he fought for the constitution that we enjoy today? Are you supporting because Raila Amolo Odinga has called for this conversation? What is it that Raila Amolo Odinga this time round is calling that is different from the other talks? Those are the things that we need to interrogate. But the young people, Hillary, have said in black and white that what ails this nation is corruption. What ails this nation are people who have refused to address problems in the education sector. What ails this nation are people who have deliberately refused to address issues in the health sector. What we are having in this nation are leaders who are currently doing business. And what we are having in this nation, Hillary, are leaders who are not, these are dealers. The moment we separate the two, then we will start having a conversation in this country.
Okay.
Lastly,
Yeah.
Hillary, I saw the president sign what is called, lastly, Hillary, the bill of conflict of interest. The bill, conflict of interest, William Ruto has done business in government. He has done business. Raila Odinga has done business. Everybody in this administration is doing business. And I saw him sign that bill now to law. Who will question these people on the amount of corruption that has benefited them all through? It is time we bite the bullet. They know what we want. The handwriting is on the wall. Where I sit, I don't think we need a conversation rather than an implementation of the existing constitution.
Thank you so much,
Hillary.
Raz. And what you're saying that we need some few things to be implemented. Marianne, I give you a mic, but you're dropping. I want to say this, guys. When you're writing for me that if you want me, I don't want you to talk. That's why we're here, for us to talk. It doesn't make sense because we cannot talk all of us. What is happening is that I'll give everybody a mic, and I'm assuring you that let us be patient, and also let us be brief as much as we can so that our conversation can make sense. Okay, Marianne, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. My name is Marianne. I'm an advocate, and I'm here especially speaking on behalf of the Kenya Youth Association. And I want to concur with the speakers that have come and said we do not need a conclave conversation. And I agree with them. You cannot try to get new solutions by using the old tricks. And like they've said, it's not just even about the dialogue alone. Look at the task force that we've had. The government keeps setting up a task force for every issue, including the Shakahola issue. If I may ask you, what solutions have come from them? What report do you have? Someone mentioned that there are reports piling up, getting dust. Nothing has come out of these conversations of this task force. And I want to, the first speaker alluded to that the constitution, it's now 15 years, we're about actually to come and celebrate the Katiba Day. And yes, the constitution is now a teenager. But the one thing I can tell you is that Raila Odinga called for this conclave, saying that it is going to be a broad-based, intergenerational, national conversation. Let me ask you a question. Is there anything more broad-based, intergenerational, and national outlook than the constitution that we have in this country? We have among the most robust constitutions in the world. The only reason why it's not working for you, the constitution, which he says is now 15 years, is a teenager or a child that is in the hands of child defilers, is in the hands of child traffickers. That is why it is not working. There is a time to speak, and there's a time to act, and there's a time to implement. Dialogue can be good, but dialogue cannot be for everything. We cannot be making dialogue for the bare minimum. There's nothing to dialogue about. And sometimes we do not know even how this conversation of the 2010 constitution came about. This constitution filled some of the gaps that were experienced in the previous constitution, including that in this previous protests that the first speaker was speaking to. And let me tell you something. Every fight.
Marianne, again, your mic, your network. I don't know what is happening. I can't hear you. Right, you can check your. No, you're breaking again. I don't know what is wrong with your network. No, 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 no. All right. No, no, no. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're breaking a lot. So do this. Just again leave and again set your app. Check what is happening there. Then you'll give your points. I'll give you a chance.
I can hear you, Hillary. Can you hear me?
You're coming back. We are losing you on the way.
Okay, my apologies for that. So I was stating that every fight for every previous fight has been different. There are people who fought for multi-partyism when there was only one party. There's a group of people who fought for the rights we have enjoyed. I am a Gen Z. We grew up with these rights. This is a generation and a time where people are fighting for implementation. So these fights are not the same thing. And therefore, the level where we've reached, we cannot use the tactic of dialogues. The things I've seen dialogue do is power sharing. They dialogue and people get seats. They dialogue and parties change. They dialogue and people are increased in government. We are not trying to power share. We are not trying to fight for rights to exist. These rights are real. So we are fighting for implementation. And one important thing I need to
Marianne, again.
We need to remember what
Marianne, again, we.
Hilary, you can give another person a mic instead.
Yeah, Jared, wait. Marianne, I think check your mic again because you are really breaking and your conversation is not flowing, so we cannot follow you up. But I want to say that again, when we are saying that we don't need this conclave talk, then we want also solution. That's the thing. You don't need it. This is what you want. We need it because of ABCD. So that one I think also is very important because we cannot just say that we don't need the talk and we don't give a solution, and that's where we usually miss the mark, guys. So also let it be that way. That will make our conversation meaningful. Japunju, sema kitu alafu Kennedy.
Thank you so much, Hillary, and the host, co-hosts, and everyone who has spoken. Hillary, so Raila is the one calling for dialogue, right? I don't know who has the absolute executive power and who is the oppressor. Anyway, Raila has influence, but the buck stops with the president. What is this pride, Hillary, that prevents him from coming out bila kutumia proxies? Do we actually qualify to be addressed by him directly? And what is his take on the dialogue? It looks like he's even being forced to this dialogue or conclave thing because there's no goodwill. There's no goodwill, kabisa. Why should we? It's like we're begging him. Uh, um, so the other thing, Hillary, I think personally, dialogue or that conclave thing will happen whether we agree here or no. This is just a formality. It's just like the government recruitments. Real people are already there. to be employed, or people are already being lined up to show up for those conclaves. They have recruited. So whatever we are doing here, they've already made up their mind. We know how this government works. So these are just, if you ask me, over 19 years, these are facts. 26 dialogue initiative, including the TGRC reports, but none were fully implemented. The failure was this dialogue, they always have elite interests. And these reports are shelved and public grievances are unaddressed. These are like talk shows for the political gain. They are persistent. They are not even trusted. There is frustration. And at the end of the day, what happened? Hillary, I can name for you from 2007, 2008, Kenya Crisis Dialogue, the
That's fine, the
KNDR.
point. But the question is, now I hear what you're saying. You said that
Now I'm coming to solution.
yeah,
I'm coming to solution.
yes.
So the reason I'm naming this is because we have these reports, Hillary. We have the IPPG report. We have the how you call it, the TGRC report. What is it that is so difficult to implement these reports? Because Hillary, if you go back to these reports, the problem is the implementation. Why are they not implementing those reports that we have? These are not new problems. These are problems that we have. If we, for example, solve or implement the TGRC report, we will solve 30% of those things that they want to talk about now. These people know our problems, Hillary. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Okay.
They just need to implement that. Thank you so much, Hillary.
Okay, thank you so much, Japunj. Kennedy, Sema.
Good evening, Kenyans. I'm now in the streets. I was seated somewhere, but I didn't get the chance. Anyway, let me just proceed. First, let me refer to my name. I'm Kennedy Sankara. I'm the youth leader or National Youth Leader Alliance for Real Change Kenya. I'm a political analyst and an activist. The first speaker did acknowledge a woman who was breaking Panadol into two pieces. I want to tell the Bees with such a mindset, you cannot solve anything in this country. Raila is not a doctor. So should we sit down and speak because you saw a woman breaking Panadol into two pieces? Number two, Raila has been known for creating a way for the devil. There is a devil we had an opportunity to send to its belonging or home. Raila came in to protect the devil. The theft we want to discuss, Raila is the one protecting his thieves in ODM and other affiliate political parties. The conversation is about what exactly? We protested as Gen Zs. Did we speak? What is it that we never said that they want us to speak? If Raila wants to strengthen ODM through his ODM Youth League, he should just find a better way of calling young people and mobilize them to join his party and not waste our time with nonsensical issues of having an intergenerational conclave. Which generation? If you want an intergenerational conclave, call Uhuru Kenyatta to come and speak for his thieving father, Jomo Kenyatta. Call Gideon Moi to come and speak for his thieving father, Daniel Arap Moi. They are the ones who looted this country dry. They laid the foundations that has filled this country to date. We do not need to speak. You want to sit with me? My father, my late father, may his soul rest in peace. He has never offended this country in one way or the other. So what do you want me to bring on board? My problems or what? We have already spoken. The policies are there. All we need. I thought Raila would call us and say, let us come and enforce. We go to RPP, ask them, why are they not doing this and not doing that? If I'm the problem, then they deal with me there and then. We don't need a conversation. We are not going to be kept busy. No one is going to buy time with us. This time around, it's either they're going to do it or we're going to do them because we cannot wait anymore. So any person coming on board with, suggestions of having an intergenerational conclave, what do you want to conclave really about? We want to speak about the constitution. There are already existing frameworks on how to implement the constitutional provisions. You find the same political parties are the ones lacking political goodwill. The goodwill do not come from us. We vote. Then after we voted for you, it's upon you to do the right thing. So you want to sit with us and explain to us why ODM, Jubilee, UDA has failed to announce the two-third gender rule, has failed to nominate the right number of young people into parliament. Do we really need such conversations? Those are things that are existing on papers. All we need to do is people to do the right things. I wish Raila was calling us today for a conversation to pass a referendum to enhance, hanging of corrupt public officials in public, not to start speaking. What do we want to speak about? So I, as the National Youth Leader Alliance for Real Change, I say no to the intergenerational conclave. It is an intergenerational conclave. ODM is known for a conmanship strategy. So this enslavement that they want to con and enslave us, we are not going to body. And I want to tell Jared, as well as the people who are voting for this intergenerational conclave, please, who is financing you? How are you going to get these numbers? We've seen the other failed talk that was held at Bomas. Even the young people who are very present at the very meeting were not allowed to speak. So you want us to come and join your train to achieve your own selfish interests as a party, and then we remain with our problems. This time round, it is either the ballot or the bullet, because that is what the police have shown us. You want us to come and sit and talk on why police should not kill us, whereas we have competent courts, we have competent institutions that have failed to do the right thing. It is not about conversing, it is about enforcing. We are only coming to enforce, but creating an conducive environment for the devil to continuously thrive, this time there is no room for that. I know it is out of fear, out of fear that Raila is calling for this conversation. He has felt that the agencies are not on his side. Indeed, we are not on his side. These numbers, these are not people you are going to buy. We don't forgive, neither do we forget. We are going to tackle them one head on, but we're not going to allow ourselves to be mobilized as fools. We are not UDA supporters who can be carried in mkokotenis and thrown in the stadiums to say Asla Tosha. And then the Asla came in as a thief. He came with the Bible. He sold the Bible, now he's selling them. We are not going to board, we are not going to sit, we are not going to entertain. It's either they do the right thing or we all die. Those who will live to remain will pick the country where it is. But we're not going to let our country go to the dogs. Because whatever Raila has been doing is to protect the dogs as they eat our country. This
So,
time around, we will cut the throats of the dogs.
yes, Kennedy. So, what is the way forward for the young people?
The way forward for the young people is, let us take votes. Let us register as voters. Let us not just go and vote at the polling stations. Let us protect the integrity of the votes. It
All right.
happened in Zambia. Ichilema never imagined that he would outshine Edgar Lungu, because Lungu was a deep state. We are
All
going
right.
to, it's not about going to vote alone. Just a moment before I finish. We should go and occupy these offices. These offices cannot be occupied through movements. They can only be occupied through elections and political parties, because our structures of governance is aligned towards political parties. A lot of us young people are shining from participating actively in political parties, and as a result, resorting to movement. It is good to be active, but it's another thing to align with the right strategy. And thirdly, let us
Mm.
contest, because if we speak about a rotten president or a rotten egg at the top, it is parliament that passes policies. As long as we even vote Jesus tomorrow as the president of the Republic of Kenya, and we vote in this corrupt academic dwarfs into parliament, I'm telling you, we are going to give, it is garbage in, garbage out. So we
Thank you.
must first ensure that the parliament is composed of the right people. Then the county assemblies, you elect an MCA who doesn't even know what a budget is, and then you want services. Then we want to cry and sit down. We are not going to sit down. Instead, let us do civic education so that people get to know what they're supposed to do, how, when, and with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lakini Ella must fall.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you, Kennedy. You have said that one thing, the way forward is young people to take votes. Number two, when they vote, they need to be there and make sure the votes are well counted and everything is there going work for them. And let them not vote the people that they think that, Kennedy, I hope you're going to vie and you want to see your leadership after 2027. And personally, as Hillary, I'll follow up that, because sometimes also we are good at speaking on these platforms, but when reach now, we're given a chance to implement, sometimes is not working, because even those people who are talking well, giving them chance to leaders, but they are not doing that. So I believe that even young people, we're going to vie, yes, but also we believe of what you're talking about, and you're going to implement it. But not don't wait to be an MP or an MCA to implement all these things. This thing can be done. I know when we're waiting, sometimes we wait power, but we still have a chance to um, implement few things on the ground. Dikembe, how are you doing today?
Hillary, I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear very well? Welcome.
Thank you. Let me start by the topic. I usually start also by saying that I'm very glad to join other Kenyans speaking to issues that affect our country, and I'm always glad to hear and interact with the perspectives that other fellow citizens are providing. Having said that, let's start with where this whole conversation of intergenerational conclave is coming from. Remember, in the weeks after the Gen Z protest in 2014, the political class responded with a number of initiatives to try and bring the protesting youth and their leaders into some sort of formal structural engagement to get a way out of the political conflict that we were involved in, that the country was involved in at that point in time. And each time, these leaders have tried to bring in these conversations. The answer has always been, we do not want to negotiate. We do not want to go into seminars or conferences or meetings. We want to see implementation. And each time, there has always been this consistent rejection of attempts to have young people in structural platforms to provide a way forward on these issues they are saying, or that we are saying are affecting our country. That has left the political class speaking to themselves. So if people are suggesting what they see as a way forward. Remember, it is not just Raila Odinga who is, the Honorable Raila Odinga who is raising this issue. Raila Odinga is only remaining, as usual, as Raila Odinga has always been, is staying on this issue of dialogue with whatever name is giving it. Remember, Raila Odinga's initial stance was, let us go to Bomas. The Bomas idea was rejected. The president's idea of having all these other, and I think the head of state, the head of public service, even issued a circular towards hosting such a conference, and that too, there was a big no and a failure to, pick up and agree that that could even happen. The challenge I have with the Gen Z group and the people who masquerade as speaking, giving the voice to the Gen Z agenda is why the fear? Why the fear to engage? Why the fear to sit on the other side of the room and speak these issues out? I was very impressed by following the tour by the former deputy president, the Honorable Gachagua. And in those halls, even though not all the time he's listening to himself, because some young people are coming and saying, Your Excellency, you are getting this wrong. You are getting this issue wrong. You are getting this issue wrong. Others are agreeing with him that, oh, you continue, you're doing well and all that. What I'm trying to say is if young people are only going to accept the streets as their platform, the political class might not meet you on the street. So this failure or this fear of dialogue or conclave or whatever name you call it, this fear also has been raised by the figureheads of the movement itself. I think it's the frustration of characters like Morara. It's the frustration of the other guys who are saying, if we keep on pulling ourselves down, if we keep on pulling each other down, nobody is going to be able to be on that table. Raila Odinga doesn't need an intergenerational conclave to survive, and I think there is a mistake. I listened to the speaker, the gentleman who's just spoken, and he seems to suggest, and sadly so, and is a member of a political party, is in some fringe party which has been around though for a while. These are parties that we have over 80 political parties in Kenya. People come masquerade, they can win electoral contests. They don't organize. They wait for election circles. They sell these tickets. Some people show interest to compete with those political parties, and it fails. Then they come to blame ODM. I want to remind people, everybody listening, that ODM is just one of 80 political parties in Kenya. ODM, it does not have any responsibility in mothering any other party, in being the matron of these other political parties. The ODM party pursues certain national interests, but the party has its own interests. And the fundamental, the overriding interest of the party is to capture power, or exercise power, whichever way it happens. So intergenerational conclave does not help the ODM as a party. The ODM did not, at the time when these conflicts were coming in. Remember, even on the day that Gen Zs were on the streets, it was the ODM party in parliament shouting, reject all, reject all, reject all. It was the ODM party in 2023 saying, reject this finance bill, reject this finance bill. So what I'm trying to say is this, gentlemen, let me just finish. What
Yeah,
I'm
go
trying to
ahead,
say,
Dikembe. Yeah.
Hillary,
Yes, sir.
what I'm saying is this. On one hand, there are people who see the ODM party. I hear there are so many there are so many labels being given to the ODM party or to Mr. Odinga, or is a conman, or is all these things. But if you look at one of the few Kenyan leaders who stay on an issue longer than any other leader in this country today is Honorable Odinga. It's Mr. Odinga who is still saying, up to this moment, we need to fund devolution. We need 450 billion to go to devolved units. And why is he passionate about that? Why is he passionate about funding devolved units? It is him who is still saying, we need to listen to these young people. We need to find a forum where the government, the senior echelons of this Kenya Kwanza administration sit down on the other side with these young people and listen to what they are saying. Now, I come from a party history. I left college and joined the political party. Our parents fought for multipartyism and they are very proud of it. And I cannot, for instance, go and tell my mom that, you people, you fought for having so many parties, but us, we are partyless, and things like that. So there is there's a millennial generation who respect why political parties came to be and understand that history. There's also another generation who do not respect at all the contribution of political parties in stabilizing the country. What I will say to these two groups is this: if the issues affect our country, we should be able to negotiate. We should be able to sit down across tables. And if young people are still going to run away from formal, structured environments where power is discussed, then they're still going to find themselves on the streets with guns. They're still going to find themselves on the streets being clobbered, being, mugged, and all that. We've been on the streets before, and we know any opportunity you get. If there is also something that Raila Odinga is teaching us, even if you agitate, however much you agitate, any opportunity you get, especially with a government that is willing to talk on the other end,
All
especially with a
right.
government that is willing to bring in young people.
Mm.
The current youth PS, who should be among the many young people in under President Ruto's regime, who should be able to speak to some of these youth issues. And I want to say this: these youth issues are not isolated. They're not isolated issues. They're issues that affect all generations. And then, lastly, I want to say something about if you listen to what Murara said with this inject party, why it was rejected, and the people said, the ORPP said that these political parties, this political party you want to like found, has all officials, and discrimination does not happen either way. The young do not discriminate against the old do not discriminate discriminate against the young is to ensure that for every political parties that has the force of law in Kenya, both the young and the old must be officials of the party. They must be members of the party. So if you look at ODM, it has old people, but it also has very young people. And if you go to all these major parties, including dead ones like Jubilee, they are including PNU and the other party. I think it used to be Mwalimu Dida's party, the Alliance for Real Change Party, was a very big thing around 2013 and all that, with a lot of noise, with a presidential candidate. These are political parties that sometimes are just found to give electoral contests a nuisance value. We need
But
to
Dikembe,
we need
as
to
you,
organize ourselves. Hillary, in
mm,
conclusion, we need to ensure that young people and old people can sit in the same room and discuss these issues. And more importantly, the people who participated in this Gen Z movement and the Gen Z conflict do not lose this momentum that you created by being too afraid, to face up to these other generations in structured boardrooms. Get used to being able to operate in boardrooms. Nobody is going to discuss power with you on the streets. Thank you.
yes, Dikembe, thank you so much. I see you are supporting this talk, but the question again comes in: uh, how they make sure that youth is represented in this talk, and who are these youths? Who is funding this? Who is going to chair this thing? Because yes, Honorable Raila Odinga called the talk or the dialogue, but who is going to chair this talk? And then, because we are just talking on the same thing, I think the agenda was police brutality, unemployment, and these things have been there. Even the last NADCO report, it still have the same thing. Who is going to chair this? Who is funding all this? And how many youths are being targeted to be in this committee?
Hillary and to other listeners, what's going on? I think we are not getting exactly what Mr. Dinga is saying. First of all, Mr. Dinga is saying we need to have an intergenerational conclave. He's not saying that I am forming an intergenerational conclave. Now, what is going to happen is this: if his call is rejected by
I can't hear you.
everyone else,
Okay, you're breaking, bro.
yeah, there's some call coming in. But what I'm saying is,
Okay.
call for an intergenerational talk, which, like anybody, like all of us, we are trying to find a solution to the problems affecting our country. And one of those problems, the youth keep on saying, even including up to this moment, what I hear here is these people are not listening to us. The political class are not listening to us. They're not taking our issues into consideration. But the problem is that you are shouting these issues on the streets. These issues have to somehow find their way into boardrooms or rooms or environments where political power or the question of power is discussed. And this is not the streets. This is what I keep saying. You can use the streets to pile pressure, but that pressure should lead somewhere. It should lead to either a state that was unwilling to talk to young people, now ready to talk and listen to young people. But here in Kenya, what we realized is that the president himself was very willing to engage young people. And each time there was always this attempt to run away from structural engagements to anarchy, to chaos, to protests, to more protests. And the final goal, as we hear, is that the current regime must go, which he has also said he's willing to go. Now, that process, some people say that, oh, the NADCO process achieved nothing. The NADCO process did not achieve nothing because at least we have a new IBC that was created. And remember, the NADCO process was a process that started before even these protests started. So the movement, the party that kept on agitating, and let us also not forget our history. Hillary, one of the problems I have with young Kenyans is we tend to cherry pick. We tend to cherry pick the struggles we engage in and forget all
Hello,
the other struggles, including very recent
hello.
struggles. So because of that, Mr. Dinga is not saying that this is my conclave, that this is how I am going to structure it. Mr. Dinga is saying, and is telling the government actually that, look here, you still need to listen to these young people, what they're saying. And that listening needs to happen in a structured environment where the young people are able to say, these are the things we wanted, these are the things we want achieved, and this is not what you're doing. What you're
All
doing
right.
is completely the opposite. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us that. We really appreciate that. Let me hear. Let me hear Akot. Akot. Uh, before I give before I give to Rosalind, Akot. What is your view on this?
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Akwat, and I don't want to repeat what my other colleagues have said. And I would just want to say this first. I want to say something to Jared. Jared said there is no point of going to the streets. First, we need to understand that the government, we have a government where they only understand the street language. And Jared is not against a demonstration. He is against a demonstration that is not organized by Raila. And the truth is, dialogue has become a tired anthem in a government that does not listen. Time and again, they've shown that they only understand the language of power, pressure, and polite conversations. So if we genuinely want a lasting change and credible leadership, the solution is simple. Let's pick our ID, register as voters, and use our voice at the ballot. Protect your vote. Protect your votes. Chukua ID yako, enda upige kura, because now we cannot be going to the streets. We only wait for time to go to the streets, and then in between the time we are going for the first street and the second demonstration, there is nothing that is happening between us. Like for the youth, I feel like we need to strategize the things. So we need to have a very good plan, because okay, at the moment we are saying one term. We need to find someone better. We need to find better leaders, you understand? Like we need to have leaders that are actually going to represent us. And one of the things, though it has somebody had mentioned it earlier, this is the only way. I think the only dialogue and something that can actually help out for the youth, it's the ballot box. Like there is no more fake negotiation, because when it comes to Raila, the other day Gen Zs were on the streets. What happened after that? Raila came and spoiled everything. We have to blame him up to today. Even if Komisa is defending that and there's someone also saying Mr. Odinga is trying to call for a dialogue, Raila woke up and just decided to have and he's been doing that every time. There is no more point of having a dialogue. There is no more point of having fake negotiation. It's time to organize and not to agonize. And that's my view. So for our fellow Kenyans, our fellow youths, we only have one simple solution, and that is having your ID, register as a voter, and vote. I mean, have your voice at the ballot 2027. That's it. Vote out these things. And also, we need to also be very clever, so that next time we don't vote out some thieves to usher in new thieves. That is my point. Thank you.
Thank you. I like your last point, Akot, and thank you so much, Mercy, for coming to our space today and say that let us not remove the thieves and bring the thieves. It doesn't make sense. So I hear young people or the Gen Zs will say that they're going to the ballot this time, but you don't see you're coming out strongly and start vying even the seats if you're thinking that. And you said something is very important, that young people, we need to vote. As young people, we need to vote. Let us not these leaders speak to us, but also let them know that we are the employees, or we are the employers. We are the people employing them. So no, when employing them, we need to have a voice, because your votes counts. Rosalind, pick it up from there. I'm trying to check those people I've not talked, so then I'll add more people on board. Rosalind, what is your take on this conclave talk?
Thank you very much. I have really been waiting. I hope you can hear me.
Very well, Rosalind. I'm so sorry because we have so many people even request now, but I'm trying my best. Yes.
I understand, and I'll try to be very brief so that I can allow others to speak.
Thank
First, let me caution my fellow young people. Like, sometimes I feel so much agitated because when you are given a platform to give a solution, the only thing you do is blame Raila Odinga. Aki, that is a disease that we need to cure ourselves from. I mean, how has Raila stopped you from achieving, whatever you want to achieve for this country? And I'm asking all the people who have thrown names towards Raila Odinga. Raila does not have an executive role in this country. He has never been elected, but every single time someone has to blame him for something. Let us just give respect to that man for the democracy he has fought for and the devolution. And if we want to move forward, young people, regardless of which political party you come from, you cannot wake up every day to blame someone for the problems you are going through because you will never find a solution. We have brought this, someone has come up with this idea for us to discuss. And Hillary, thank you very much for hosting it. But people, from all the discussions I've had, I think apart from Akoth, amejaribu kupeana solution, nobody is giving a solution. Everyone is blaming Raila. I mean, we will blame Raila until when? Until when, young people, fellow young people? Hii ni opportunity yetu ya sisi kudiscuss. Do you want intergenerational dialogue? No. Why? Do you want intergenerational dialogue? Yes. Why? That is something that is not coming out, and it is so unfortunate. We need to stop blaming Raila for the problems we are suffering from now, because the truth of the matter is this, and he is my party leader, yeah? Raila will not be here with us 30 years from now. He won't. But me, I'm a 25-year-old. 30 years from now, unless I'm abducted and killed, I'll still be around. I'll be 50 years old and probably with a child in school. What kind of country do we want for that generation? It is so unfortunate that people are not giving tangible solutions to the problems we are having. It is just a simple question. Do you want it? No. Why? But you can't keep blaming Raila for the problems that we are facing as a country. He fought for the democracy that we are having and the freedom that we are having right here, right now. He fought for the devolution that we are enjoying. He was not alone. We had his peers. You have heard someone say their parents fought for multi-party democracy. They did what they had to do when they were young. Lakini sisi tutafanya nini? Let us not allow the momentum that we created in 2024 iende tu hivyo, because from the look of things, itaenda hivyo. And I don't want to repeat what others have said. They've given their reasons for not, and some have given their reasons for supporting. One problem that is making young people not to accept the conclave dialogue is distrust. That is one, because Ruto has previously come on camera and said we have forbidden, people will not be doing harambes, people will not be dishing out money in churches, but he showed us the middle finger by just going out and dishing out money in churches recently, and also allowing his team to go out campaigning, or rather doing the empowerment. I don't know how they are empowering people using our own money. You see, such small things make the young people of this country try to look at him as someone they cannot sit on the table and discuss with him, because he does not keep the promises that he make. If only the president could follow the constitution, if only the president, even if he had to ignore the constitution and only followed the manifesto, ile manifesto nye alikuja nayo hadi akina Maverick wakampigia kura, hiyo manifesto tu presida akiifuata hadi mwisho, trust you me, nobody will be going on the streets. And I want to give Kenyans reasons why I think Raila came up with the idea of conclave. One is because lives continue to be lost, and the truth of the matter is nobody wants to lose a relative in demonstration. And if you have not lost a relative, if you do not have a friend at Kenyatta National Hospital who is nursing bruises out of the bullets, you will not understand this frustration. These are some of the people who are even saying they cannot go on the streets again. So what should be our next motive? To be honest, me siwezi kana president kwa teboni dialogue na yeye. That is just my stand, yeah? Yes, and I come from ODM party. But it does not mean that the avenues for dialogue have ended. Let me challenge you, my fellow young people. We should use the momentum we used in 2024 to be calling the shots in 2025, 2026, and even 2027. We are the ones who should be calling the president on the table. Sio yeye anajiita kwa table. And this is my idea. People can accept it or reject it. I am thinking we have thought so much about the president, we have forgotten about our counties. What if we started this conclave dialogue by ourselves, yeah, at county levels? Me natoka Nairobi County. We need to look at what are the problems facing Nairobi counties. What is the governor, the senator, and the MPs in that county trying to do to solve that issue? We come together, we bring our heads, all of the people who are voters in Nairobi, tujaribu kuangalia which solutions are needed in Nairobi. We do the same for Turkana County, we do the same for Machakos County, we do the same for Nakuru County. That will be a very dangerous movement, and everyone will want to listen to us, because when we come in front of even fellow Kenyans and tell them we have traversed the whole of this country, we have listened to the issues of people from Wajir. Wanasema the Gen Zs of Wajir, their problems are the same problem yangu ya mimi hapa Nairobi. They are totally different. But we bring all these problems together and we say we are tasking our governors to achieve this, and we are also tasking the executive to also achieve their mandate. And we give these governments, both the county and the national government, ultimatums. Na tuambie, hii kitu inafaa kufanyika by this. Hii lost money inafaa kurudishwa by this. Kama kuna industry ilikuwa mtu amechukua pesa ya kuset up industry na ijakuwa set up, we give them ultimatums. Trust you me, if we start doing these things at our levels as young people, we will be calling the shots this year, next year, and even in 2027. And hata huyu president kwenye kichwa ni ngumu kidogo, ataanza kusikiza na ataanza kulegeza kamba. But if we continue coming on such platforms to blame a single person who has never been elected in office, watu wanasema amewa betray, people who have never elected him actually saying that he has betrayed them. That is so unfortunate. And until we sit down and decide what we really want as young people, and we don't have to keep mentioning these old guards kila wakati, because we give them power. Because if you are coming today here to talk about Raila only, tomorrow what the media will be talking about is just Raila, because that is what you want to hear. But if you came today here and you said our issue is unemployment, and this is what we can do, this is what we can do, and this is what we can do, to be honest, hata mzazi wako kule nyumbani, ukienda kumwambia sasa nipigie kura kama MP, atakusikiza. But young people, we are losing it. We don't just have to shout like I've heard Kennedy Sankara shouting and calling names. That is not solution oriented. Tafadhali. My idea is tuanze at county levels. Let us flip this dialogue and make it our dialogue, such that sisi tutakuwa tunaita president, tunamwambia tumeangalia hii, tumeona hii in the Ministry of Health, tumeona hii in the Ministry of Education, and this is what we want you to do in the next 12 months. This is what we want you to do in the next 6 months. If you don't do it, we are going to overthrow you. We are going to throw you out of that office. And trust you me, he will listen and he will have to act. Because this is a president who doesn't want to serve one term. He has shown all signs that he doesn't want to leave that office. Let us use that opportunity to pressurize him to deliver on his mandate. And young people, for us to achieve this, we need to join political parties. Unajua nimeona tu watu wanatusi ODM na kutusi ODM. ODM is 20 years old. Na hiyo ODM iko na watu democratic. We have people like Babu Owino, people like even Sifuna, who are rejecting some issues, but they are still within a political party. Ingia hata kama ni DCP, ingia huko. And I said this on TV the other day, that if we are being genuine young people, we need to join political parties, because forming a political party is not easy. Join the political parties. If you are 14 million of us, sisi wote to occupy all political parties. Ndio mtu mwenye MP mwenye hajadeliver, MCA mwenye hajadeliver, women rep mwenye hajadeliver, we ensure they don't even get the party tickets at the primary level. Yeah, such that time tunafika 2027, kama kuna mtu tume-identify for women rep in Nairobi, na maybe alikuwa na vayo na DCP ticket, we agree as one people through our youth leagues that tunaachia huyo mtu juu ametoa wale watu wenye probably they were not delivering, and we are going to support them. If only we looked at the opportunity we have. Na acha niwaambie Gen Z na millennial, this is the only time you have, because the generation behind us si ya mchezo na haina patience. And trust you me, by the time 2033 inafika, you'll be 40 years and there will be another 20-year-old who is baddest than you, and he will not even allow you to be elected the second term. If we don't use this opportunity very well to put in action strategies and stop making noise and blaming Raila Odinga and ODM party, hatutasonga mbele kusema ukweli. So me, I would really wish to hear what are the things we can do. Me, I am proposing we start at county levels and we can all unite, because I've seen youth leagues from very many political parties here. Tukae chini to agree. You see, ndio tunaweza kuwa tunaiza ita shots in all our political parties. You know, we wake up one day and we say we want the salaries of MPs to go down up to this level, and we give an ultimatum as young people. You know, it can be done, but kama tuta keep on pulling that, you know, if you are in DCP, you have to abuse someone who is in ODM, you are in UDA, you have to abuse someone who is in DAPK, hatuwezi achieve. Thank
I
you.
hear you. I hear you, Roslyn. Actually, guys, I think that's the way. Roslyn, you see, Roslyn is picking out the solution that we need to have. Because, yes, she's saying that she doesn't need a conclave. She doesn't need this talk. She doesn't need dialogue. But she's giving as our optional. What can we do as young people? And I said it. Don't wait to be an MP or an MC is when you start working. There's a lot of things that can be done. We need to strategize ourselves. If we don't need talk, and if we need the talk, how do we even approach the talk? Because what I'm just saying, what I'm just hearing, guys, yes, we have called for the talk, but how are we approaching this? Even if we are going to that table, how are we approaching all these things? Because I don't see that. We are just seeing people are giving motions and everything. It's not about defending anybody. And as pressure point team, we are not aligned to any party or to anybody else. But the thing is, we are just trying to talk about facts and the things that how can we say things is working for us and a better tomorrow. We have jobs after school. The education is there for us. The hospital, when you go to the hospital, you can be treated and all these things. How can this work for us? That's what we want when we talk about all these things. Kidimwanga, you've been waiting for a while, and then Eve, then Cynthia. I'll rotate. Back. Oh, just for all you're here, but let me hear this guy. Mwanga, pick it up.
Thank you very much, Hilary. Thank you for hosting this very wonderful space. I have heard eminent Kenyans speak, some with raw emotions, others with a modicum of misplaced arrogance, others giving their sincere frustrations and hopes. But that is the nature of democracy. Today, because we are discussing dialogue, I want to remind fellow countrymen that it would be the epitome of foolishness on our part as young people to, with a wave of hand, dismiss the calls for dialogue. Because history records that when gunshots broke out on 28th of June 1914, after the killing of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, it took dialogue in the Valley of Versailles in 1919 for there to be peace. When 20 years later, Adolf Hitler overran Poland towards Belgium, the world also again had to come together in 1945 after Harry Truman had dropped atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Every time a society, a polity has come together and made a turn towards the right history, it has come from dialogue. But the Kenyan scenario today is quite dicey. It is dicey because young people said you cannot kill us and lead us. Even today, as we speak, the killings have not entirely stopped. We do not know who is going to be picked next. Just 2 weeks ago, we lost over 30 people. So that even as we are here today, some of those bodies are yet to be buried. But this was coming a year after the president had given commitment that nobody would be killed on account of holding a political opinion. This is coming after ODM and UDA have put pen to paper saying that police brutality will be a thing of the past. This is why the young people are saying they cannot dialogue with this administration in any shade or form, a position that is endorsed by Interparties Youth Forum. And for purposes of Interparties Youth Forum, Ruth Bolo will speak for us. I am only giving my personal views as Kidimwaga because my leader and friend Davis Oluoch, together with the Commissar, requested me to make sure that I show up here and give my 2 cents. We reject the dialogue because of what dialogue has become in this country. It has become a political salve that an administration that has lost favor with the people uses to earn itself a bit of legitimacy through the back door, but then such administration does not do anything to transform the lives of the people. And the evidence is there. When we went to NADCO, and my brother Dikembe wants to take a lot of credit that NADCO has given as an IBC that is rocked with legitimacy crisis from the start. Remember that Kenyans didn't protest in 2023 because of IEBC. The protests in 2023, maybe other actors had interest around the IEBC, but majority of Kenyans who are putting sufuria on their heads wanted the question of the high cost of living addressed. It was not addressed in NADCO, and to date it has not been addressed. And so young people are saying that to go to another round of dialogue would be to prove that they are foolish, and as Kenyans we are foolish. Foolish in the sense that we shall have done the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Today as we speak, fellow listeners and fellow countrymen, the government of Kenya, the parliament, the legislature, and the executive have not addressed themselves the question of public debt and the economy convincingly. The question of the rule of law has not been addressed in any way, because even the Chapter 15 commissions and independent offices that we set up under the Constitution of Kenya 2010 today are independent in name only. Education and healthcare are falling apart, and there is very little we are doing. And we also know that the president today has increasingly lost his legitimacy. All these things, ladies and gentlemen, are things that the government can resolve with the mandate it has from the people. And people telling us that young people have to be in certain rooms to have these things resolved are people who are afraid that when young people sustain the pressure as they have sustained, that then they might lose the bread in their mouth. That is why they seem to come and lecture us as if we don't know better. This is my suggestion, that there have been attempts by members of this administration to delegitimize demonstrations. What they are forgetting is that the demos are protected under Article 37. We as the people, and I support what my sister Alionya has said. Alionya is a member of the Interparties Youth Forum. For those who are here and but might not be aware, we are leading Kenya Kwanza administration is doing. It is borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. So it is keeping us in this revolving door. We want and demand a government with radical imagination. But the way this government is conducting business, we as young people, we must consolidate these voices through every way possible to make sure that if this government does not respect the will and the wishes of the people, then we can consolidate all these voices and be able to teach it the fear of the Lord. I beg to yield the floor to other speakers, and I remind you, Hillary, that you might want to bring in Ruth Bolo to speak for Interparties Youth Forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruth is coming, and thank you so much, Kidiwanga, for that. And I hear what you're saying. You're saying that you don't support this, but I know Dikembe. You've mentioned Dikembe. I'm gonna give him a time. Dikembe, just wait. I'm gonna give you. If you can write them down, you can respond on what he's saying, so that I can give these other people also a mic. Umoja. Then justice for all. Then Eve Wanja. It is important, at least Wanjala. Eve Wanjala. I'm sorry. Umoja sema.
Okay, thank you very much, Hilary. First, I would wish to appreciate this honorable step. I'm Umoja. I'm the National Youth Chair of Wiper Party, where my party leader is Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Towards the discussion of today, of the conclave, I say no, and no, and no. We don't subscribe to that. These are the reasons. Now, number one, this conclave, it will undermine the constitutional structure, being that Kenya Constitution clearly outlines the roles of the national and the county governments. So with this mechanism of the conclave, or this secretive gathering, it will bypass the legal process and dilute the accountability and transparency expected in the public governance. My second point, why we are rejecting this, is that this conclave will promote elitism and exclusion. In that, this conclave will involve a selected few leaders, excluding other critical voices, such as the civil society, citizens, county assemblies, minority interests. So this will foster decisions that do not reflect the public needs, worsening the democratic deficit. The third point is that it will encourage the political patronage, where, if you know the political history of Kenya, which is related to the political party alliances and the ethnic power blocks, it will be used to negotiate for political deals rather than the policy solutions. The fourth point, why we don't want it, is because it will weaken devolution. As we know that the Kenya system, it was designed to empower counties and reduce centralization. This conclave is going to risk centralization power by creating elite agreements at the top that county governments are forced to adopt without genuine input. This conclave, it lacks legal authority because this conclave, they are not formal. There's nowhere they'll be included in the legal framework. So implementation of it is uncertain. This conclave that you're talking about, it will lead to potential for conflicts and parallel power centers. There'll be struggles between the president and the governors and the Senate and the executive, which will lead us into a deeper economic embargo of this country. Lastly, nikimalizia, we know the history and the solutions that we have for this conclave. Whatever has been pinching from the way 2023 was a high cost of living. This high cost of living demonstration was done by the Gen Zs. Instead, the government just changed and brought some experts into the government. That one, Gen Zs created more jobs for some people, of which you are still not seeing any fruits that they are bearing, the experts. Currently, we are having a lot of police brutalities and abuse of human rights. Nobody is safe in the country. What is the government doing? Still negotiating and advising that a lot of youth or those who are demonstrating should be shot on the legs. Are we moving from wheelbarrow to wheelchair as a country? To this ODM, what is your NADCO report? It was not being implemented until your people met recently to also come out with another committee as a follow-up on the NADCO report. Even all these things, however we bring our recommendations on board, there's nothing that is going to be implemented. We say no, and the general solution is the sovereignty, which is chapter 1 of the Constitution, is going to be bestowed in 2027, where all of us let us go and vote for Kalonzo Musyoka to bestow this country and set it to the right place. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Julius. It's only that we don't compare to anybody, but that's your opinion. You are asking many people to vote for Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka as your candidate. But thank you so much. So I hear a different opinion, and thank you so much. Ras, if you have something to let me know, Jared, niambie. Jared, before justice for me, yes.
Okay, I think justice can just go.
Oh, justice for all. Go ahead. Then Caroline, you are here. Oh, Eve Wanjala, and then Caroline. Then nisikie Ras alafu Dikembe. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Hillary. And